man. Show them that camera. Uh-huh. Yep. Let's go. Book review time. Unleash this book reviews. I'm Dean Gornitis. I come with you every Saturday, except today on Sunday because I read a book that was almost 400 pages. The Exorcist. Some guy wrote it. Blatty, I think his last name was, if I remember right. This was the book that made the movie. So the book, when it was published, caused some stirs, and then the movie obviously was ridiculous. There's actually a documentary running on TV right now. I forget the channel it's on, but it explains kind of the history of the movie and of the book and where it came from, and it's based on a true story. This kid in the 50s who they say was possessed is where Blatty got his ideas from. And the movie was just, I mean, some of you guys I'm sure are like know this, but I didn't know this, that lines were out the door, down the block. It seemed like a Twilight midnight release party or something. Twilight midnight release. Apparently back then people had a little bit better taste in movies than they do now. But yeah, whole lot of controversy. I guess the Catholic Church was reporting like a 40% increase in confessions that were taking place right after the movie was released. And so this book, you know, was written by the same guy who then later wrote the movie. So I'm sure... Okay, I just want to make sure the microphone was still running. Last week I had problems with that. But all the horror that you found in the movie is in the book, and as in most cases when it comes to books that were later translated into movies, although I think this book translated very well into a movie, the book was, as per usual, a little bit better, a little bit more in depth, a little bit more terrifying. Especially for you guys that are like my age who have seen The Exorcist, and you know, things like that can get dated because technology is always running, but the book, no dating at all, and you have more characters, more, you know, ideas on what could be happening, and all that kind of stuff. You get a richer experience, and in my opinion, a scarier experience. You know, those special effects, you know, when the puke came out that I think was pea soup in the movie, you know, for us, we're used to that. But in books, in an age now where people aren't even really reading books like maybe they used to, as people always like to say, that kind of stuff doesn't date like it does in the movies. And yeah, I'm not one to get scared too often, but this book scared me. Let me talk about the prose for a minute, the writing style. Nothing extraordinary. You know, this is another one of those books that seems to border in between commercial fiction and literary fiction, because the writing didn't specifically grab me as being great writing. There was a lot of dialogue, which in my college courses on creative writing, they kind of try to tell you to stay away from dialogue. But, you know, what works for you as an author is what you got to go with. So I'm not going to go out there and tell people to stop using dialogue, but there was a lot of dialogue. Certainly not a hindrance on the story at all. The story propelled nicely, and as I think I tweeted earlier in the week, I haven't really been gripped by a book like this one in a long time. Since I've really started doing these book reviews, I've read some good books, but I haven't really wanted to sit down and read as badly as I did with The Exorcist. I'm sure a lot of you know that feeling where it's sort of like you want to read, you know you want to read, but you never seem to really... You always procrastinate and do something else. But with this book, for me, there wasn't nearly as much of that procrastination. I wanted to get home from work and read this book, and you can't argue with that, right? Yeah, so I know it's a little late now because Halloween's only tomorrow, but if you're looking for something scary and you're looking for something outside of Stephen King, outside of maybe Richard Matheson with I Am Legend, as I told you before, was one of my favorite horror stories, The Exorcist does not disappoint. I finished it last night around like 11 p.m. and I'm going to honestly tell you, I was scared to be in the house by myself. My girlfriend was out, and I haven't felt like that since I was like 11, you know? So give it a shot if you're interested in that kind of stuff, all right? Naked lunch people begging me for naked lunch. I'm hearing you. I'm hearing you. I'm going to the library tomorrow. It's closed today. I'm going to take a look at it. I'm not going to promise this week I'm going to do it. because The Exorcist was a longer book and I kind of could go for something a little lighter, I'm going to take a look and see how thick Naked Lunch is. But I promise you it's coming. I promise. Naked Lunch, sometime in November, it'll be there. I also have a really cool idea that I'm going to make a video for later in this week. I'm not going to promise which day because I never know, but I've been tossing this around in my head with some friends and family. I really like this idea, so keep an eye out for that. I think you guys are going to really like what I'm coming up with here. All right? Take care of yourself, love people, and enjoy some football Sunday, NFL. Let's go Bills. All right. See you guys.